Afternoon, everybody. Goodness me, how's things? It's been a busy one this weekend. I've just had my mum today, so she's just left because she can't help, to be fair, but talk through a demo. So I'm like, Mum, you've got to be quiet or you're going to have to go home. She's like, yeah, I'll go. I know. But that's fine. I've had a lovely day with her. So we've got loads of crafting bits and pieces done and she gave me a list of jobs and that's all sorted. So today, okay, I'm going to be doing the, no, it's the hot air balloon and the instructions. There we go. That one there. But if you have a look on the inside here, you've got different variations of it. You can do like a light bulb or you can do a ship in the bottle. There's a few variations. So in terms of my quilt, I'm going to choose to do the light bulb. I think this is going to be really nice. We can perhaps do a bit of embroidery on it, but please don't panic if you want to do the light bulb, the balloon. It's the same thing, and you see in here you've got the instructions and it talks you through how to do it, and it shows you, look, I'm splitting bits off as I go, and it works it's pretty straightforward, that one. I'm going to do the same frame, but I am going to do the light bulb in there, and I don't know, I just think it's quite nice. I know Leslie did the hot air balloon on the original, but I want to do the light bulb, so hope you don't mind that. And also, if I can avoid and not do the colouring today and just show you how to draw it, I'm going to try and get in another one, because of course next week we're going to be at the NEC. It's a 4-day event and it doesn't finish till 4:30 on the Sunday, so it's been late till I get back. And rather than miss a whole week of not doing it, I thought if I can get it in, we will. So, okay, without further ado then, here we are. Piece of fabric, bit of interfacing on the back. And just as with all our other blocks, I'm going to mark my centre bit. And the first thing I'm going to do is bring in my frame. So this frame, it does need you to, I'm going to mark my dots, see, centre. And then here I've got one either side. So I'm going to actually draw the frame in with my fine liner pen. Now, as we know, the fine liners are permanent. So once it's on, it's on. Just so you're aware of that. If you're a little bit unconfident and you want to draw it, maybe do it on a bit of paper first if you want to, or use the pen that irons off. But as I always say, always check that it does iron off before you go ahead and start drawing with it. Just do a little test on a bit of scrap or something just to be sure. And of course certain ones work better than others, but that's it's up for you to choose. Everybody's got their preference. Alright, so this is a tricky one to draw around because it's got quite a few bumps. It's like got a lovely scallop, but in the middle, you see it's got that little curve as well. And then I'm going to come on inside and do inside there. And the same, I'm not marking the dots now, I'm actually drawing them in because they're going to be part of the design. I do apologise if I've got a bit of a wonky table. We've had a bit of a thing this weekend. So those of you that know me, you know I brought a long arm quilting machine. So the idea was I was going to remove my craft desk out of my second bedroom because it's quite a big craft desk and put the long arm quilter in there. So yesterday we finally got it out of the box. We thought we'll make the frame up. So we've got part of the frame made up and realised that if we put it where we wanted to put it, we wouldn't be able to get into the loft because the loft ladders is in my craft room. So we thought, okay, that's not a problem, we'll put it on wheels. So we couldn't get any wheels yesterday, so we had to order them online. So I've got half a frame built in my craft room, no desk. So with that in mind then, we're like, oh, what do we do? How are we going to sort this out? There you go, see, drawn around it. And so we thought, right, what we'll do, there's a wardrobe and it just sort of houses like winter coats. So we thought if we move the wardrobe, we can fit it long ways in the window ledge. So that's what we did. But of course, moving the wardrobe and trying to move all the stuff out of that, because of course it's got wadding and fabric in there as well. My craft room is literally all in bits. This table I'm working on is actually a little vanity table that was in the bedroom. And yeah, just about fits my fabric on. So I apologise, it's a little bit wobbly. So I don't want to lean on it too much. But it'll be fine. When it all works out, it'll be fine. Okay, here we go then. So looking at my frame, you see we've got the bubbles and it starts creating these little cross shapes. So I'm going to start with these little letter S's and I'm going to go all the way around. You do have all the variations if you want to do that. It's absolutely fine. But I'm going to talk you through the original one. So, okay. So I'm going to start with a bubble. Let's go a bit bigger so you can see it. Yeah, that's been my weekend, to be fair. Yeah. So I'm going to go to work tomorrow for a rest. Okay, little S. And then I'm going to repeat the process, but I'm going to come out a little bit wider. Oh, bless me. And in. Okay. So I know it looks a bit weird because we're going over the top of this one. Imagine that this was embroidery threads, you know, and you've got like 2 strands. So we're going to go all the way around with these 2 strands. See, just getting a little bit thicker. So wait a minute, we're around. And of course, if you're more comfortable going the opposite direction, please go ahead and do that. Again, as we know, I'm left-handed, so I will do things slightly slightly different than all you right-handed people out there. So you can go the other way, it's fine. And it doesn't matter, as long as you're doing a similar sort of shape, whatever's comfortable for you. There we are. Okay. Yeah, actually there's a painting that was at the back of the wardrobe. It's a good A1 size painting that I did when I was teaching. It was actually 2011. I went to Auschwitz with 2 sixth form students, and as part of the trip we had to do some sort of acknowledgement or a write-up or something to talk about our experiences and what we did when we were there. So of course I did a painting, and it's not one that I'd ever perhaps put on the wall because, as we know, you know, it's a very distinct subject, but actually it's nice to have, and I don't think I'd want to get rid of it. I don't want to sort of throw it away or anything, but it was my way of saying this is what I experienced when I was there. So it's not been out in I've not seen it in 5 years because that's how long the wardrobe's been there. So I mean, it's all wrapped up, it's all, you know, clean, so it's not damaged or anything. There we are. It was quite a trip actually to do that in a day. There's a very early start and a very late end, and I went with 2 delightful young ladies from sixth form. It was really good, really informative, you know. Okay, so we've got that all the way around. Let's have a look at that. Okay, so now I've got to go the other way around. So if I just sort of zoom in again, here we go. And this time I'm going to do the S just as before, but of course it's going to cross underneath that one there. But I can still do that same design. And then again, just underneath. Now, of course, if we were doing real cross stitch with threads, we would be doing it the opposite way around, wouldn't we? Because your threads would go over the top. But because we're drawing it, it's a slightly different format. And then again. Now, you know, even if you're not drawing these on fabric, to draw these on paper, they actually they look really good. It's quite a bit, it is a bit of work to get them done, but they do look amazing. And if you were to do them in just black and white with maybe just a hint of colour somewhere, they look fabulous in a frame. And they're about, you know, they're not big, are they? They take a 6 by 6 inch card quite nicely. So if you feel that you're into your stitching but you've never done any paper, then maybe it'd be worth having a go at this on there. And of course, you can see why we do all this in pen to start with. I don't think I'd want to be coming back and doing this all in pen after drawing it in pencil. It'd take a little bit too long for my liking. I enjoy the process, but I reckon that if we just get straight in with a pen, you'd be absolutely fine. You see, all we've done at the minute is do little letter S's. They might be a bit long and thin, but that's all we've done. So there's no biggie with that one. That's kind of nice, isn't it, to do and make a great little border. And of course, using the other frames, if you wanted to do this design with any of the other shaped frames where they've got the dots, you can do that. You could even do just a border along something, couldn't you? As long as you've got those 2 dots just to give you that bit of structure, then it would work. There we go. All right, let's have a look at that. Okay, so we've got this lovely sort of crisscrossy design going along and sort of joining each one of those up. It's really nice. So here we go. That's where we are at the moment. So we've done this step here, number 3. So now we've got these little lines, and you see they're going at a little bit of an angle, so they're not straight on as you would sort of expect. They're a bit of an angle. So again, if you want, whichever way you want to do it, it's entirely up to you. So let's start here, like sort of a bit of an angle, and then I'm going to repeat this all the way around. You see, I'm turning my fabric as I go and getting that bit of an angle in. So I'm not wanting it straight. I never said that if that's what you want to do, but I'm sort of following the instructions here and putting that angle in. So again, I'm drawing the same line every time. It's just that because I'm moving my fabric, it's helping me get that similar sort of line in. Again, nothing too strenuous here, nothing crazy difficult. Just putting lines in. Okay, so I've got lines all the way around. See, it's giving that little bit of a feel that it's been folded. So if I sort of zoom in a little bit. Oh, there we go. I'm going to choose a side. I'm going to go with this one, meaning that it's here. And let's put some little lines in. So I'm going to do that on every single one. Again, just work my way around. And of course, you can choose whichever one. It really doesn't matter, but once you've made your decision which side, you've got to stick to it. We're going to have them on the same side all the way around. You see they've got a little bit of a curve to them, just as we work our way around there. And just kind of, I'm not trying to keep them all the same length or anything. Just doing something a bit different. There we go. So it's not going to take too long, this one. It's quite a nice one to do. So just take your time with it. And mostly done there. So we're now going to come around this top section. This is obviously where you're going to put your darker colour when you colour it in. Blend it out that way and perhaps put a white line there so you've got dark to light as you do it. So looking at the dot here, I'm going to come in and put in a little loop, like so. And then working from one side to the other, I'm going to come in with 1, 2, I'm going to get 3 in there. And same on the other side, 1, 2, I'm going to get a third one in there. I could put an extra one in, but I'm not going to, I'm going to leave it at that. So into the next one, always starting with that middle, and then one side, and then the other. Now, on the instructions, it suggests that these little sections here are filled in with ink. Again, that's your choice if you want to do that, or if you want to leave it without, or maybe you want to colour it in a different colour. It's entirely up to you. Are you all counting threes now? So we've got one in the middle, and then it's 1, 2, 3, and the same this side. But having said that, if your loops are a little bit thinner than mine, you might do 4, or if they're a little bit thicker, you might only do 2. It is your choice. I think that's the beauty of doing this, is I'm giving you the idea and I'm showing you how I do it, but that's not the end of it. It doesn't have to be that way. You can make it up, you can do whichever way you want to do it. It's just lovely how that works. Okay, same with this one. Just sort of loops. I think loops get quicker, don't they? And as long as you've got structure to work to, and it's kind of nice. You don't have to think too much about them. And around they go, see? There's 3 there, 3 on this one. And just sort of continue it. Don't think you've got to keep up with me, or you've got to go at this speed. Doesn't matter. However long it takes. So we're kind of excited that we're going to be soon moving on to actually making this. So all these designs that we've done, we're going to put together and actually make something out of them. Imagine, you know, when you show this to people, they come round to your house and you say, oh, look what I've made, look at this quilt, and they won't believe that you've drawn these. I'm quite excited for mine to put it together and do a comparison, because you know Leslie did the black and white version and mine's the colour. It's going to be really nice to see how that works. So I think I'm going to have mine in the car, because you know, stopping and starting. Sometimes it gets a bit chilly, you know, late at night, first thing in the morning. And it means that, you know, when I'm stopping and charging, I can just put that over my knees and it'll be nice and cosy. And of course I've made a travel bag, you know, with my cup in and the same fabric, and I've made a little bag in the same fabric, so everything matches. So I think the only thing I need to do now for in the car is I've got a little drawstring bag in there, you know, for putting bits and pieces in. You know, the odd bit of change if you ever need £1, you know, for the trolley or anything. So I've got one in there at the minute, but I think I need to make one in this fabric so it all matches. There we are. Okay, let's have a little look at that. Oh, there we go. There we are. So the only other thing we've got with this now, let's have a look at it, is we've got, see how it's filled in there? I'm not going to do that. It's a row of bubbles all the way around. And I think just to sort of finish it off, I am going to do that. So I'm always going to start in there. And then just keep them small. You see, it just, I think it does just finish it. And then into that one. Always try and get a bubble if you can at the bottom. You can sort of gauge the size of them as you work your way around. So it sort of happens in there. And follow it along. And again, no need to rush. You can take your time with this and just follow them through. See, it's quite a nice little frame, isn't it? It's just easy lines, easy shapes, and just build it. There we go. And along. So it just sort of sorts itself out. Because they're just bubbles, they're part of the rest of the design. So it doesn't matter if they're all slightly different, as long as they're touching. Just work your way round. There we go. Let's turn it around a little bit. Okay? And keep it going. It's amazing once you get going with bubbles how quickly it starts to create these shapes. Always trying to get one at the bottom there, if possible. You see, just sort of working it round. It's amazing how quickly bubbles fill up, honestly. I do tend to speed tangle with them, but please don't think you've got to rush it. I just want to show you how it goes together, see? And keep it going. So does everybody else do them at this pace, or do we do them a bit slower? What do we think? There we are. Let's sort of keep it going. And of course I've heard this morning that we've got 5k on the Sanntangle group. Goodness me, that's great, isn't it? It's lovely. That's such a lovely group. Of course, this one is, at the moment, it's nice and private, so we can actually make our quilt and have a little bit of a first sort of view of it. And of course, these videos at the minute are exclusive to all of you, so you can make your quilts without anybody rushing ahead of you. And, it's nice to have, isn't it? Okay, see, not far to go now, almost done with the frame. Just these last few to do. I do think it was worth doing. You know, if you've got a bit of a wobbly edge, having a bubble row always helps clear it up a bit. And keep it going all the way to the bottom. Okay, let's have a little look at that. There we go, look at the difference that's made. And again, if you wanted to fill those sections in with ink, you can do. I'm going to leave it because, of course, I'm putting more colour in mine, and I might see how that goes. So if you were going to do your balloon, you would put your frame in now, and you'd draw around this one, and you'd draw around this one, put a little line in there, and then that would join your main balloon shape to your basket. Using this piece, so if I left that in there, put that on, I would use my friction pen to mark in those lines, because what that would do, you see, it would give you this line here and this line here, so it would start to split up that bit of space for you. You see, that's those lines there, or those lines there, and then here I would split, so those little lines are the centre. So you see, you've got your two bubbles, that would be there, and that's where you would then draw your little shapes for your little mountings and follow this down, and then your little curves would go in there. So hopefully that short explanation, you can sort of see where that goes. This bit here, you can see at the end, from here to here, I've drawn like a little curved line around like that, and then that gets filled in with ink to give you the starry sky. But as I've said, I am opting to do the light bulb for my quilt, so that's the one I'm going to work on now. How do we do it? So we don't actually need that piece, we need this piece, and of course I'm going to turn it upside down. The first thing I'm going to do is draw in this shape here. I'm not going to draw that bit in for a minute, so I'm going to draw that bit in with my regular pen. You see, it's the bottom of the ball, and then I'm going to bring my friction pen in. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down a little bit. You can see my black lines there. And I'm going to bring that shape in there, okay? Because then what I need is a little bit of a bump between there and there. And then here, let's turn it round. I want a little bit of a curved line. And there, okay? I'm going to add a little bit on the top as well. So I've sort of got that shape, okay? So coming in with my my pen now. So I'm going to add that little bump on there. And that one there. So I was drawing a little bit freehand. Just turn it round. And I'm going to bring that line in, but not all the way, just sort of part way in, like that. And then while it's this way inclined, I'm going to put a bump on the end there, and there, and there and that one. See, so I've not gone all the way to the middle, and the same on this side, so I'm putting those little bumps on. Okay, like that. So you see I've got this sort of almost twist on screw kind of fitting there. Okay, so then here I want to add a little sort of a highlight, so I'm putting a little line and a little line. That's my highlight, maybe one top there. I'm not going to overdo that one, just a little bit, maybe just a bit there, look, sort of wandering off, because my main design I'm going to sort of fit in here. And then how do I do that? So I'm going to start with a bubble about this is going to be in the middle. Let's look at the design again. There we go. So I'm going to start with this middle bubble here. Okay, and let's go in there, and again straight in with that fine liner. There's my bubble. Okay, and let's add a little swirl inside it, like so. So the next one, let's have a look at this here. See, it's showing you've got this sort of a shape going on here. And that's what we're going to start with. I'm going to go up bank. I'm going to start with, starts with a curvy line, see? And then it comes round. And keeps going around as though it's almost coming back on itself. And then I'm going to come in, create like a little loop there. And bring it back, quite narrow. Down to the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction, do another one. See, it's going underneath this time and around and along there and into there. So I've got two. All right, so if I turn it the other way around, same again. When I say same again, I'm going to do one that way. Okay, and then one this way. And in we go. So I've got one either side. And then same again, one this way. And around. So you might have to practice those just a little bit, but once you've got the hang of it, you can usually do it in one swoop. And then again, this way. And along we go in there. You see, I'm not worried about them being the same. It doesn't have to be. I've got two there as well. Okay, let's have a look at the instructions again. You see there, so you've got this one, look. And there. And then there's your bottom one, and there's this one. So we then want to look at this here. I'm not going to fill in the areas there with black. I'm going to put these loops in here. So let's start with this section here, and it's got a loop going on. So now, because I'm not filling that in, I'm going to draw it in as though it's going behind. You see, let's go a bit bigger, and then a little line, and then one this side. Okay, you get the idea. And one this way. And one this way. And then I don't want to go into that highlight source there, so I'm just going to finish that with 3. And then do the same in the other sections as well. Now if it needs to go underneath, take it underneath. See, one there. And another. And there. So we're drawing loops and putting that line in at the same time now. And then on to the next one. So again, round we go. And the line. See, that's going to go underneath. And we just sort of keep going. Might just get another one in there, like. Just have one. And then same on this one. You see, when it's on paper, you can add a little bit more detail in, I think. When it's on fabric, I think it's all about thinking about what do you actually want to put in there and what's going to give you the idea. So having a lot of ink in that background, I don't think it's necessary. What I am going to do, see where I've got these little gaps here, I can come in and add some bubbles in like that, and it just breaks up the space and it shows that there are gaps, but we're not doing a lot of heavy inking. And of course a lot of black in there, you know, we don't want to sort of bleed into the fabric too much. We know these pens are pretty good, but you know, if you put too much ink on it, inevitably a lot of it's gonna bleed. We don't want that. Okay, so it does show again in here that you've got these little shapes as well. Now there it shows you, look how to do it. So it's a little line and a curve, and then you either put a bubble on the top or you put a little leaf shape on the top. And again, looking at the light bulb there, let's look at the two together. Second. So there's the light bulb I've just drawn, and there's this one. I don't think I need all of that in the background. I think actually doing what I've done here is probably enough. And once I've added some colour in there and I've removed that little bit of red, I think that is probably absolutely fine. I don't need any more. So again, absolutely your choice. If you want to add a little bit more in, it's entirely up to you. But that's the first one. So that's our light bulb done. So just a quick show. I'll show you the hot air balloon actually that's been drawn out. Here we go. We can just have a quick look at the differences there. So here we go. Looking at this. So you see, this is where we started with the bubbles, and we've done those little S's. And then here it's been drawn down, a little bit of a wave there, and extra lines that we did before. There's the loops. And again, this time, look, it's been filled in with black ink. So there has it been filled in with ink, which I didn't do on mine. So doing your little hot air balloon, you can see here, look, that's your actual shape. This has been split into sections. That's where the lines were for the bubbles. Then we had 1, 2, 3 triangles. And then you see we put a line down the middle with the friction pen, draw the lines up, and then that gives you that shape. These little curves, and then we've joined the lines down to here. And then here, of course, we've done little lines. So we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, and the same that way, same that way. And then these dots and dashes. The only thing I would do with these, make sure they're straight, because that's sort of like giving you that vertical. Oh, here, little lines coming out as tassels. And then this bit, we've done a bit of a wave there. Added a bubble and then coloured this in, left some little gaps with ink. So that's the difference between that one and then this one, where we've not filled with ink, we've left it because of colouring. And of course I've done my light bulb instead. So that's your two there. Now at this point, we could say that's it, we're not going to do anything else, we've done our work for the day. So for this week, that's the one that's done. But of course, next week, I'm not going to be here. So I thought what it would be nice to do is to bring in the next one. So then you can say stop and you can leave it there. And then next week, you can come and watch this next half. And that will give you the next piece without sort of us missing a week, so to speak. So, okay, I thought what would be nice to do is the vine section, which is this one here. But again, instead of doing all these extra bits and pieces here, I'm actually going to do this version here. So we've got these sort of little shapes in. And again, it's entirely up to you. So you can stop and watch this later. But first things first, I'm going to come in with the frame. So there's the frame. And then the odd shape is, I've got these here. Okay, so I know that fits in there. It does in one way, shape or form, but it does. But I'm only going to use that. I don't need to use that as well, just that one. All right. So starting off, and again, I can line it up. So here we go. I've got that in about the centre. And what I'm going to do is draw around this one. And then just as before, around this one. And I hope you don't mind this. I hope this is okay, me putting 2 in 1. I just didn't want you to miss out next week and us be a week behind, because I know we're not rushing it, but we're taking our time. But I don't want us to miss one and be an extra week. Yeah. So as I say, it's here. You can come and watch us next week, or you can do this whenever you're ready. And then, of course, the following week we'll pick up and do the penultimate. So there's only 2 more to do after this, and then we'll be on to making the quilt. So there we go, drawn around the inside, and there you go, around the outside. And the slots, I'm going to come on in and draw those as well. Again, I'm not marking it, I'm actually physically drawing around the shape there. Okay. So that's pretty straightforward, I would say, but of course once you've started drawing it, draw the whole thing, because you might find that they won't match again when you put it back on, because these were hand drawn, so not an exact perfect match around. Okay, so just getting all of those in, job done. So that's what we've got. All right. So a little look at the instructions here. That's what we're aiming for. And I'll probably draw part of it. So because that could take a little bit of a time. So I'll draw a section of it. Let's find it if I can. Here we go. There we are, right at the back. See. So looking at this, number 1, see, it's showing a zigzag, and then it's giving you extra lines to put in. So we're getting a bit of a crossover, which we'll probably do. I think what's going to take the time is doing this design here. So let's see how far we get. So I'm going to go, first of all, from the top here down, like that, joining those 2 together. And then the other side of this, I'm going to go up to this one. And then that one. And then that one. So I'm going to repeat this all the way around. Oh, just move that out of the way. See, I told you I've got a real small desk, so trying to get all of it on and move the fabric and not have the stencils in the way. Okay, all the way around. Little zigzags. Okay. So, is anybody coming over next week? Will anybody come into the NEC? I know it says sewing for pleasure, and I know we're doing sewing at the minute, but there's 2 halls. One's all paper and one's sewing, and I know that Sewing Street and Hobby Maker are going to be there as well. So it should be a busy one. If you are coming, come and say hi. Oh, Sue, that'd be great. Come and say hi. I'm on B06, so it should be fun. All right, so we've got that little bit there. And then our next step, we're going to come from, let's have a look at this. Let's go in a bit because we want to make sure we get this right. So see at the bottom here, I'm going to come in and go to the middle of that one there. So I've got a triangle. And then go to the next one and come down. The next one, go up. The next one, down. You see what's happening here, look? So the bottom and the top. So I'm still almost creating that zigzag pattern. And working my way around it. Of course, you've got any questions, you want to come and see me the weekend, well, I say it's Thursday to Sunday. Or if, you know, you've got sure of something, you want me to demo a particular thing, then I'll have all the stencils with me. I can show you how they work. And that'll be quite nice. Okay, so following this through, working from the top and the bottom. And that's the beauty again of these, because you know it's going to match. Okay, so that's that bit. So then the next section here, let's have a look. See, let's just look at the instructions. So we've done this one. So now this one, we're working in the opposite direction. But we don't want them to match. We don't want like a crisscross, or else we could have just crisscrossed, couldn't we? Oh, Sue, that would be lovely. I'm going to do it slightly further up. There. So we've got like a crisscross, a mismatch. All right. And then same here, look. I'm going to come slightly below, slightly above, slightly below, above, below. So if you keep saying that to yourself as you're doing it, you don't want them to meet in the middle. You want it to almost look like it's twisted. So we're going above and below, above and below each time. And I know it sounds really daft saying it, but I think it really helps. And you can get the glimpse. Now we have got Leslie with us on Saturday and Sunday as well, so you'll be able to see my bestie, Leslie Elf. But for the rest of the time, it's going to be John and me. There we go. All right. So in between each of these now, let's have a look. Coming in, I'm going to do some little flicks like that. And then of course same on this side. So don't know about you, but I actually find doing it one way easier first, but it's entirely up to you. So we've got these little sort of, they're almost like little sparkles, aren't they, in the middle there. It's going to help the shading. As we work our way around. And of course, if you're not up for the NEC, we are doing a live sessions in Stoke-on-Trent in June. Classes in April at my place, Stoke-on-Trent in June. We're going to Scotland at the beginning of July. I've just got to put the sort of tickets and put them on the website. Apparently that's a 3-course meal. You're going to get a sit-down meal with us. And yeah, it's all go. Busy, busy. Oh, so yeah, where am I in Stoke? I think it's the first week of June, first weekend in June. It's a Saturday. Tickets are on the website for that. You get everything included, everything you need. Just bring yourself. I usually say bring a ruler and a few coloured pencils. There you go. And yeah, you get lunch as well. Lunch will be included with all that. Okay, so that's that little bit done. And as I say, I'm not going to do all the bits in between here because this is going to take a little while, but let me just sort of talk you through it. We're going to do a bit of what we'd call an aura around. So if I do a section of it, I'm going to start here and I'm going to go around the shapes like so. Okay. So it's taking my time. You see? Around all of the piece like that. And then the same on the other side. So it's leaving like a gap in between each pattern. So, you know, you want to take your time with that. I don't want to rush it, so I'll just do a section of it so you can see how that works. Okay, that's this bit here. And then moving around, you see now we've got lines here. We've got a bit of a curve going on here. And then lines. And then here we've got a grid. So let's look at that. How do we do that? So we start, and what I'm going to do is put a line. Actually, before I put a line, I'm going to put a line here and a line here. So I'm splitting that space up around those shapes there. And then in between each one, I'm going to put that little curve in. So we've got the lines, we've got the structure. Okay? Like so. And then these sections, split it in the middle. And then split those in the middle. And then I can get 2 in there, 1 in there. You see, we can just sort of fill them in. So we're splitting space up and then filling in the sections around it, like so. Let's do this one as well. So that's how that works. Now we have done that before, so I'm not worried about that one. I think we've all got that, we'll be fine. So the next bit, what do we do here? Okay, so first things first, what I want to do is I'm going to draw a little line around this one. So again, it's giving me a little bit of space between the pattern. Working around. Okay. Let's do that one as well. Now if they join in the middle, that's fine. You see, I'm going to do that little bit there. And then I want to put a grid in. So we start with one in the middle C, one either side. I'll get one in there. Let's do that again. Middle. And on either side. See, I'll get a little one in there maybe, like so. Oh yes, Dobby will be there. And I'm going to draw a line around there. And then I can put my grid in there, look. And then there. So I've got some squares to work to. And then where each line crosses the other, I'm going to add in a little square. Like that. And that is what's going to do the whole frame. Okay. So even if you can only get like a half of one in, still do it because it makes it more realistic then. And that's what I do all the way around the frame. So let's have a little look at that in a second. You see, so that's where that's going to go. So yeah, we've only done that bit round, but that'll get followed round and that'll do the whole frame. So coming in then to do the actual inner section, and I say we've got this really odd little shape here. Now if you want to get it into the middle to sort of start with, I'm going to bring this one in and draw around it. Okay, looks a bit weird, but bear with me. There we go. Okay, so next little bit, if I come in again, I'm going to do a little aura. So I'm going to follow the shape all the way around. Long ago, let's just move my stencils out of the way. I'll follow the shape, keeping it going. Now, if you're going to do this and you want to add extra bits and pieces in, it might be wise to use your friction pen because, and I'll show you in a minute, here we go. So if you want to add in, see, hang on, where is it? There you go. So you've got these little flowers and these little leaves and things poking their way through. If you want to have some of those over the top, then you need to sort of be able to rub out bits of the vine underneath. So just so you're aware of that, if you feel happier going in with a friction pen to start with, that'll give you options for when you add your extra bits and pieces in. Okay. So see, I'm just sort of drawing around. I do actually have a Christmas wreath stencil set, and you've got a similar shape and similar design in there. Okay, so you've got that. So then let's bring this odd looking shape back in. Now you've got both sides of it, and the idea is that you need to turn it round a little bit. So you see, that's where it was. So let's move it along a little bit. Let's go to there. Okay, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw around, but then when I get to where I've already got a line, I'm going to go underneath, or I'm going to stop and then start again. See, stop and then start again. And just sort of follow it round all the way, look. Stop and start. You see, we've got that kind of a shape. And again, let's come on in and do that aura. And follow it round just like we did before. But of course, when we get to a line that's already been drawn, like this one, I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to go underneath, turn it round, stop, underneath, draw my shape, and go underneath each time. Okay, do the this one. Let's imagine it's coming out there, look. And around. And keep it going. Along and around. So I've got that shape. Okay, let's go a bit bigger. There you go, a second. There you go. So I'm going to bring it in for a sort of a third time. Now again, I say you can turn it round so you're going to get a slightly different positioning. And just have a look at where you've got shapes already and where do you want other things to go. So I'm going to sort of bring one in there. And you can do this as many times as you want. So 3, I would say, is probably the minimum. But if you want to do more, depends how sort of thick you want your vines to be or how much detail. So we're going to do 3 for this one. And then have a look at it. There you go. Okay, so same thing as before. See, I've drawn around, going underneath each time. And then let's do that aura again. And you know what, this would be quite nice if you are going to stitch this. You could use 3 different colours, maybe 3 different greens. And each line, I don't know, maybe you'd do a running stitch or something. And you could follow it round with that. That would look quite nice, and you get different colours. That's when using maybe more than 3, maybe going for 5 would make it look really nice. But, you know, this is the beauty, isn't it? Choice is yours. There we are. See, so you've got 3 going on there. Okay, that's the first little section. So we've got a couple of little flourishes and things going on around the outside, which I'll do in a minute. But I want to actually bring the design in first here. Now, looking at the frame here, you can see you've got these little flowers and little leaves. We've just had a look at those leaves in the hot air balloon. So you could add those in about the place. Or, as I say, you can actually come in and create a little picture here. So there's, see, that one's done with a black fabric or black paper with a white pen. So you've got your options there. So first things first then, we need a bit of a straight line. So whether you use something to draw around or a frame or something, I'm going to do is bring in a straight line. Okay, and this is going to be sort of the bottom. This is the top of my my little block here now. This is why we've not pieced them all together. This is why we're doing them, drawing them separately. So we can work out which is top and bottom later. Let's do another line. Okay. And I'm going to turn it so it's horizontal. And then put a line in across here. Okay, I'm going to go a bit bigger. Alright, so I've got like the letter T. And then sort of in the middle, let's bring one up there. Okay. So it does suggest putting a little triangle underneath. I'm going to do that. Little V like this. And then another line in the angle. And then I'm going to fill in the space around here. So one in the middle, look, and one either side. One in the middle, and one either side. And then I can do similar here, look, from middle and either side. See, I'm going to extend that one. And again, middle and either side. Okay. And just sort of in the middle, let's come in a little bit. Oh, Chris, where have you been? I've talked through the balloon. I did the light bulb, and then so we don't miss out next week, I'm doing next week's as well. So we can all stop and start it, and you've got 2 to go out and 2 weeks to do it. So absolutely, I thought let's do that. So we're not missing out. We're not going to sort of run over an extra week, are we? We're going to get it all done together. I don't know. Where have you been? I don't know. Okay. See, put that little bit of a structure underneath. And a little line, look. Line. You see, once you get to grips with these, you start to sort of feel it. I've been to knitting. Chris. Now, in all honesty, we did the light bulb, and I have talked through how to do the balloon, but then just so we, we don't fall behind, we've got this at the same time. Let's have a little look at that. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to put some little bubbles and dots around there as well. It's not too many, just a few. And then in between here, we've got a slightly different tangle we can do. And it's 2 lines, so just a little bit like we've already started. And then let's put a line on the top and then fill it with a triangle. We've done this one before. And what am I saying? Start with this top one. This is why you'll find doing all these blocks, they don't all look completely different. Yes, they've got a different image, but we're actually using similar tangles, so everything sort of works in together. So, you know, they're not sort of going to be all standalone. They do work cohesively. Okay. See how that one's slightly gone underneath? Let's come out a bit. Now, I'm not going to fill a load of those in there. I'm going to work my way around the piece, and they're going to be sort of in and out everywhere. But try and sort of even them out first, because if you don't want to have loads in one area and then you think, oh, I don't want to do any more, and you've got to sort of follow it through. So, you know, dot them about the place first. So you've got ways out if you need to, okay? There you go. And with that one. And put one in this side as well. We did this one. We did this pattern, didn't we, when we did the star? So that would be one of the first blocks. Would it be number 3 or 4? So let's put one in there. So you see I've got them dotted about the place, so I can then decide where I'm going to come and put more in. Okay, one there, look. I don't think they've got to be the same size. They don't have to be. You can change them up a bit. So let's have one come in there. And fill that one in. So let's have a look. Put one here. So they can go around, they can go in and out of that vine. Let's put one here. Okay, there we go. And of course, once you think that you've done enough, you can leave it at that, but you can add a few more flourishes in. I think what I will do, because I'm aware that we're an hour in now, so what I'm going to do is I'll show you another little flourish I'll add in, and then we'll finish for the day. But I'll actually finish this one. I'll do all the frame and then I'll post it. It won't be coloured, but I'll post it so you can see what the finished thing looks like once the frame's been completed. Okay, and we've done the light bulb and its complexity, so that's fine. Okay, so you see I'd add a few more of those, but then I'd come in and you could add a couple of little curves with bobbles on the end. See, curves with bobbles on the end. And I think it just sort of helps, and don't be afraid of actually going over the top of the vines with them. See, so that one can go under. Just sort of helps with that extra bit of dimension, like so. Okay, there we go. So also is to finish this is I'll add a few more of these. I'll add some of those flourishes, and I will complete the frame around the outside, and that covers that one as well. So quick recap is, yes, we did do the hot air balloon frame, which is this around the outside. So instead of doing the hot air balloon, we did the light bulb. So we've taken the hot air balloon, turned it around. We took this little bit out, we've joined these two together and created a little bit at the top there. I mean, I could always come in, look, and add a couple little lines and things in there. But of course, if you want to do the balloon, I did come in with a few pointers and things you could do there. And then of course this one we've done like the vine and the wreath. We've done a little picture in the middle. And the frame, of course, looking at the instructions here, that's the one we've done there, that one. And following it through, it's right at the back. There it is. So we started number 1, we've worked all the way around. So I'm just going to fill in this last little bit here. There's the information for doing the vine. So our twisted vine look, and the little flowers and the leaves. There's that little bobbly curve that we've just done. But instead of doing the vine in the centre, I've actually come in and I've done this instead. And as you can see, there's the instructions for how to do that. So you've got variations again. So whatever you want to do with yours, just sort of hit and miss, do whatever you want to do. And remember, this is 2 weeks worth of work. So if you want to do the hot air balloon or the light bulb this week, that was the planned scheduled one. And then next Sunday, I would have showed you this one. But of course, you've got it a week early. So this won't happen next week. This will be your next week's project. And then, of course, the following Sunday, we'll be back to do one of the last. So all we've got to do then is these 2. So when we come back, not next week, the week after, I'll probably do this one. Then we'll do this one. And then we're into actually making the quilt. And then we're back on track then. So hopefully that's given you lots of scope, lots of information. And you don't feel like you've missed out for next weekend. So have fun, everybody. Enjoy. If I don't see you at the NEC, I will see you probably the following week where we'll catch up again. And I will actually finish this frame now, and I'll post both of them on the Facebook group. And then it's my homework over the next 2 weeks to get them coloured. So have a good one, everybody. And of course, don't forget, we're still doing tile 327 on Tuesday. We won't be doing a tile on the Friday because, again, I'm at the NEC. So quite busy, but you've got plenty to be getting on with. So have a lovely week or couple of weeks, everybody. And I'll see you again soon. Okay, take care, everybody. Bye.